Salt and pepper squid. I think it's one of the most popular Australian dishes you can get. You can get it at the pub, cafes, restaurants. You can also make it at home and it tastes fantastic. Now, I'm not doing this just as a side dish. I want this to be an entire dish, so I'm going to serve it in a mango salad. Let's start with the dressing. Super easy dressing. I'm using some sweet and sour sauce. We'll pop that into a bowl, and I want to get all these other bits and pieces done straight away. The salt and pepper component out of the way. So the last thing we're doing really is frying up the squid so it stays super crispy as we mix it in with the salad. So sweet chili along with our fish sauce. Don't overdo the fish sauce, it can be overpowering, so we just want about a teaspoon or so. And then I love fresh components to this. So the zest of 1 lime, and there's so much flavour in the zest. Grate that on a fine grater, and then with a knife, I'll cut that in half and just use a spoon just to get as much of that juice out as possible. So you can imagine the flavours that we've got in here. We've got the sourness coming from the lime, sweetness from the sweet chilli, and the saltiness of the fish sauce. Just fantastic. And we'll pop that to one side. And the salt and pepper. So it is salt and pepper. Use some good quality salt for this, a good handful. And pepper, I'm using white pepper that I'm freshly grating into this, but you could use black pepper and a good hit of pepper. And to change it up even more, I love the addition of some Chinese 5 spice. So a good pinch of that into our mixture. Just use your hands to mix that. And that right there is a flavour bomb. So we'll pop that to the side and let's get onto the squid. In a bowl, I'll add some flour, just some plain flour. And I'm not going to season it at all with salt because we're going to season this later with our flavoured salt. So I've given myself a head start with the squid. I like to use the whole squid. Get some beautiful fresh squid that has the tentacles. The tentacles are so tender. And I'm just going to show you how to prepare the hood. So after you've cleaned it and you've taken that purple skin off, we're going to cut it straight down the centre, open it up, and just use a sharp knife just to remove any of that excess slimy part. Get rid of that. And then we're just going to, on an angle, very thinly slice. Now you can see I'm just using the tip of the knife. I'm doing this because I'm being very careful not to go all the way through the squid hood. We don't want that because it'll break up. See how it's still all in one big piece? Turn it around and then again the other way. So what this does is help the squid curl and crisp up. It stays really, really tender as it cooks. So once you've done that, we can cut it in half. And then you can cut it into sort of strips and that's going to curl up. Or what you can do is cut them on an angle so you've got little chunks, completely up to you. I like a bit of both so we can really see that this is a homemade salt and pepper squid. And the other one, just going to cut like this. Now you want to cook this in batches. You don't want to overfill your wok that has some oil in it. Vegetable oil, turn the heat on. This needs to be at 180 degrees, so nice and hot, so we get it cooked on the inside, crispy on the outside, and the trick here is to take it out within a minute. If you overcook it, it can be tough. We want to stay super tender. So we'll start with 1 handful into our flour. And we're going to just shake off the excess. And I like to test just with 1 piece before I add a lot of it. We want to make sure we get little bubbles around the squid. So you can see there's little bubbles. That's at the perfect temperature. So in with the first batch and then we'll take it out and repeat the process with the rest of the squid. All right, the last batch of our squid is coming out. Drain it really well. Now, while that's just cooling down just slightly, let's get onto the salad. So this is a green mango. It's an unripened mango. I like it because it's tangy and really crunchy. So we're just peeling this with a speed peeler. And I won't peel the whole thing, so I only need a little bit of it. And I've got this nifty little device that's going to julienne this green mango for me. If you don't have one of these, you can just finely slice it and then cut it into little strips. So we're going to pop this straight into the bowl. And you see how cool this is, it cuts into the strips. So keep working all the way down so we get to the stone. And I think that's about enough for the portion I want to do. I'll also add some tomato. I love the pop and the sweetness of the tomato, so just a small handful. And we'll just cut them into half. Don't cut them too small because we want it to be, roughly the same size as the squid. In they go. Herbs, I'm using some Vietnamese mint. I love Vietnamese mint. You can get it at some of your supermarkets. It's got quite an intense flavour, so you don't need too much of it. So I'll pick a few more in. Now for our squid. So we're going to add a generous handful, and have a listen to this. Oh, crispy squid, that's what we're after. So that's why you want to leave it to the last minute, toss it through everything, and you want to make sure everyone's at the table ready to eat this so it stays as crisp as possible. We're going to dress it at the very last minute, and just using a spoon and a fork, give that a toss. Listen to that, so good. And then we'll pile this up onto a plate in the middle, nice and high. A few little extra things. This is a makrut leaf, a lime leaf, and we're just going to roll it up like a cigar, really, really tight. Because it is a strong flavour, you want to cut it as fine as possible. So this is called chiffonade. The little tiny strips of that sprinkling over the top, in and around it. And an extra drizzle of that delicious sweet chilli sauce over the top and around the plate to show that off. Lastly, some crispy fried shallots for extra crunch. That is a delicious dish. Salt and pepper squid. It's sort of been pimped up with the Asian herbs, the makrut leaf, and that sweet chilli sauce. Give that a go, you're gonna love it.